Namaste, my loves. Welcome to the mat. My name is Bethany and I am the Yogi Witch. This is Roanoke. This is Luna, who apparently didn't get the memo that we were filming a flow today, but we're going to do our best to ignore them for the next 30 minutes. But other than that, welcome to the mat for this 30-minute yin inspired yoga flow. So in this flow, we're going to take things super slowly, holding poses for a long while, opening up and reconnecting all those meridians and finding a little bit of peace in the poses. So for today's practice, you might need maybe a block. If you don't have one available, then you can use a book, or a pillow, anything like that. But when you're ready, my darlings, I will meet you back here so we can get flowing. Okay, so to begin today's flow, we're going to come straight away into a supported bridge pose. So lying all the way flat on the back, you're going to take this block, maybe the book, maybe the pillow, whatever you're using. You're going to pop it underneath those hip bones. So avoiding this lower spine, we want it just sat on the top of those hips. If you have maybe more space today, you're welcome to pop it to the side, or you can lie it flat down with me. But wherever you are, from here, you're going to take your hands just on the inside of those hip bones, bring the bottom of the feet together and move into your butterfly legs. So it's quite an intense pose to begin with, but as we only have 30 minutes to play with today, we're going to start straight away. So maybe it takes a couple of shuffles to get yourself comfortable here. But once you've found your pose, you can take a beautiful deep inhale through the nose and a slow exhale all the way out. So if you find that butterfly legs is really too much for you, then you're welcome to bring those knees back together. But if you're fine here with me, then just start bringing your mind to the mat, leaving behind any worries of the future, any worries of the past, just setting your mindset into the present moment. And as I said, today we're going to be holding poses for a while. So we're going to aim to hold this butterfly legs for another minute or so. Aiming to open up these hips, release any tension that's sitting in the lower spine, maybe in the glutes. So keeping those inhales and those exhales in and out the nose, nice and even. Aiming to stay here. 10 more breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. If you are joined by maybe your children today or four-legged friends, just know that I understand how stressful it can be. But we're going to aim to find a little bit of peace in these poses as much as we can. So from here, we're going to take a deep inhale to bring these knees slowly together. And those hands are going to come to take hold of the block. And from here, We're going to lift these legs all the way into the sky to come into our candle pose and begin to take a few ankle rolls. So rolling them in one direction, rolling in another. And we're going to just gently start to bring these legs a little bit closer to us so it starts to put, intensify this sensation of the block underneath these hip bones. So the closer you go, the more intense it is. The more you take it away, the less intense it is. So starting to adjust this pose to how you're feeling and how your body is responding to it. And again, we're going to hold here for 10 more breaths, in through the nose and out through the nose. Keeping those inhales and those exhales nice and steady. Before we take a deep inhale through the nose, and on our exhale, we very gently bend these knees and pop one foot, pop another back to the mat. And we're just going to walk to a bit of a back bend now. So extending those legs flat, maybe you take the arms all the way overhead as if you're giving yourself a full body stretch here. Start to open up the front of the body, point those toes, point those fingers. And then walking the feet back to the center, you're going to press into them to lift the hip bones up, and straight away we find ourselves in to a seated position. So we're going to move to a wide leg forward fold here. So extending those legs nice and wide, moving on to those sit bones. From here, we're not going to aim to try and grab the ankles or the feet. We're simply going to walk those hands a little bit forwards. So starting to work with our breath. You can even test your mindfulness by flipping those palms all the way up to the sky, keeping the feet flexed. We don't want these knees to fall in. We need to push those feet to the side as we hold here for a minute. Now this can be a pose that can be quite frustrating, and it really tests your patience, as you might not be able to go as deeply as you'd like to, but that's okay. The longer you stay here, the more open your body becomes, the more warmer your muscles get, so you're able to slide yourself a little bit further to the mat. If you have practiced with me before, then you know the chaos that I deal with. If you are new to the mat with me, then as I said, this is Luna, this is Ro. They are members of the Fight Club, and they never really know when the best time for a Fight Club is. If it's maybe in the evening, or first thing in the morning, or when I'm filming a flow. But the sad thing is, Luna loses 99% of the time, don't you, my love? Yes. So maybe you recognize that you can start to pivot from those hips a little bit more, start to come a little bit deeper. Keep those feet flat, keep these knees pointed to the sky, don't let them fall in. Not forcing the body to go anywhere it doesn't want to go, or pushing it past the point of a good stretch. You start to go into the realms of a bad stretch. If you start to feel any sharp sensations in any of the poses today, then you ease yourself out of them very gently. Starting to recognize the difference between good pain and bad pain, the one that is obviously a stretch, the one that is going to cause an injury. Now with yoga, it can often be, it is a test to the ego and test to the vanity of how deep you want to go, how much you want to be the best. But the most thing I've learned with my yoga practice is that always search for progress, not perfection. So yoga poses, they take a lot of patience, they take a lot of work to find peace in them. As often we walk to the mat and we want to conquer it there and then. But the reality is you already conquered the flow by turning up that day. So always remember this. If you feel that you're not as far along in your journey as you'd like to be, or maybe you're not in the same place as another person, never look left or right, always look at your own mat. Never look left or right, always look inwards. And then on your next inhale, my darlings, we gaze forward a little bit to lift that chest. And on your exhale, this right hand is going to slide against the right leg. And we're going to open the left arm all the way to the sky. Now, we don't want this arm to fall in front of us. We want to draw it back to open up the side of the body. Taking that gaze high as we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently release the left hand to the left leg, and let's open the right hand side of the body by taking this right arm all the way overhead. Maybe recognizing if one side of the body is more open than the other as we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift the body up. We're going to slide these feet all the way forward. You can move to reverse tabletop, or you can follow me by taking the hands behind the back, fingertips point to those hips, and on your next inhale, you're going to pull these toes all the way to the mat to lift these hip bones up. Hold 5, 4, lift them up, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the hip bones down, and let's find our way into our tabletop position. Luna, you are not helping right now, my love. So from your tabletop position, we're going to work through some classic cat-cows, one of my favorite stretches ever in yoga. So coming into your tabletop with the shoulders over the wrists, hip bones over the knees, we're going to work through our cat-cow. So on our inhale, we roll back those shoulders, drop the chest to gaze forwards. On our exhale, press into the hands to curve the spine and tuck the chin into the chest. And you can work through these now, my loves, with the rhythm of your own breath. So going as fast or as slow as you want, but aiming to match the movement with your breath. So on your inhale, you drop that chest to gaze forwards. Exhale, you curve that spine to find the space. And taking this just a few more times, feeling every inhale, feeling every exhale. And without rushing, my loves, the next time that you curve that spine, you're going to curve it so much that you tuck the toes and lift these hip bones all the way to the sky, bending one knee, bending another. So taking really mindful movements here. So not just moving the legs without thinking, really pushing into those heels as you bend one leg, pushing into the opposite heel as you bend the other. Trying to stretch out those hamstrings, connecting with the earth beneath those fingertips, beneath those toes. And then let's move into a little bit of a twist. So walking the feet as wide as the mat. You're going to bend those knees slightly, and the right hand is going to find its way to the left leg. Maybe you find the thigh. Maybe you'll find all the way to the ankle. But wherever you are, we're going to hold for 2 breaths. In, through the nose and out through the nose. Beautiful. Right hand comes to the mat. And let's take this twist to the other side. Left hand finds the right leg, maybe the thigh, maybe the ankle. Releasing the left hand back into the mat. And we're going to work through some active upward dogs in a moment. So when you're ready, you roll into those shoulders, come to the tippy toes. And we're going to lower the knees, lower the chest all the way down. From here, we untuck the toes, press into the tops of the feet to lift the thighs off the mat. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can either roll over those toes or bend those knees to come back to down dog. And we're going to take this movement 2 more times. So rolling to your plank, drop the knees, drop the chest as you vinyasa. Untuck those toes, press into the tops of the feet to lift the thighs off the mat, keeping those shoulders away from the ears for 5, 4, 3, it's a hard stretch, 2, and 1. Roll over those tippy toes, come back to down dog. 1 more time when you're ready. We roll into our plank. We roll into our plank, drop the knees, lower the chest. Untuck the toes, press into the tops of the feet as you inhale to lift the chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the knees back down, move to tabletop, and straight away we're going to step the right foot between the thumbs here and lift the chest. As if you're going to come to a low lunge, we're actually going to take a look at our dragon pose. So from here, keeping these hips squared, we're going to walk this front foot forward so the knee never comes over this ankle. You want to keep it stacked on top. Sink into these hips, go as far as it feels comfortable to you. And then from here, you can rest those elbows onto the knees. Keep this chest lifted as we come to a minute hold of our dragon pose. So if you have a wall, you're welcome to go against a wall to press into that back leg. Or if it's enough for you here, you can stay here. Now, I know what you're thinking. 1 minute hold here will be fine. That's cool. Maybe you've got super open hips, or if like me, they're a little bit stiff. Then in about 5 seconds, you're going to start to feel that burn. But if splits is in your, yoga journey goals, then this is one of the moves that you're going to have to work with to find some hip mobility and come into the splits. So holding here, 30 more seconds, in through the nose and out through the nose. Keep this chest lifted. Sink into those hips. Five more breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Maybe you're closing the eyes. Maybe you're feeling that burn like me. I always panic when I'm in this pose. So holding for 3, for 2, and for 1. You're going to take one hand to the mat, take another, and very slowly, as it will be a little bit stiff, you're going to lift these toes off the mat, so the right toe, off the mat, and begin to move into your half split, so forward folding over this right leg, as if you want to bring that forehead all the way to the knee. If you have some blocks, you're welcome to hold them here. But again, hold it for 5 more breaths, in through the nose and out through the nose. Beautiful. And then place the right toes back to the mat. We're going to bring both knees to touch, so straight away take this dragon pose to the left hand side. So step this left foot between the thumbs. Lift that chest if you're going to come into a low lunge. Then we're going to start to walk this front foot forward. Square the hips off so they face the front of the mat. And move your way into dragon pose on the other side. So remember, always keep an eye on this knee. We never want it over that ankle. We want to keep it in line. Keep the chest lifted as you bring the forearms to the knee. And maybe you recognize if one hip is more open than the other. This is definitely my tighter hip. So I'm feeling this burn almost immediately. No wonder it's called a dragon pose. So hold it for one more minute, keeping those inhales and those exhales beautiful and steady. Maybe finding a drishti point to take your gaze to. Aiming not to fall over. Thirty more seconds here. In through the nose and out through the nose. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper into those hips. That chest is lifted. We're not dropping those shoulders into the ears. Beautiful. And then with control, again, our hands come to frame that front foot as we lift the toes and find our way to our forward fold, bringing that forehead as close as we can get it to the knees. Holding for 5 more breaths just to ease out the legs. Before we take the left toes back to the mat, bring both knees to touch and find your way through a vinyasa. So just bend those elbows next to the chest to lower the body all the way down. Untuck those toes. So we're going to find our way to our active upward dog. So pressing into the tops of the feet, lift the thighs off the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend those knees and tuck those toes and find your, how many toys do you need here, Loops? Find your way to your down dog again, taking some mindful movements here. So bending one knee, bending another, really pushing the heels to the mat. Maybe you come as far as to go into a flamingo style down dog. So pressing in to the right heel, you point the left toes, lift them off the mat, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, yes, 1. Left toes come to the mat, pushing into the left heel, lift the right toes off for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right toes come back down, and we're going to bend the knees here, finding our way all the way into a forward fold. So you're welcome to grab the big toes, or maybe you find the elbows. But starting to pivot some weight onto those tippy toes, draw the heels down to ease out any tension in that lower spine. And if you'd like to add a bit of a shoulder stretch, you can find those fingertips behind the back, pop open that chest and let those hands float as far overhead as it feels comfortable to you. Holding wherever you are, 5 more breaths, my love. In through the nose and out through the nose. Before we gently bend those knees, release the fingertips back to the mat and find your way into a tabletop position. From your tabletop position, we slide the left hand forward and we thread the right arm all the way underneath, coming into your thread the needle. You might stay here, or if it's available, you can bring those hands into prayer and come a little bit deeper into the shoulder stretch. If prayer is too much, then take that left hand back to the mat. Can I help you, Luna? Loops. It's a good job she's cute. with control. If those hands are in prayer, release the left hand back to the mat. And let's immediately take this pose to the other side. So thread the left arm underneath the right, and you can find your way back to that prayer twist if it feels good to you. If not, then keep the right hand to the mat. Remembering always that one side is different to the other. With control, you gently, with control, with control, you gently roll the body back into tabletop, cross those ankles, and we're going to send the legs all the way forward. Relax the body all the way back and find your way in to a full body stretch. Pointing those fingers, pointing those toes. Just one final twist before we come into our Shavasana. So hugging the left knee into the chest, you're gently going to guide this left leg all the way across the body over to the right hand side, coming to your spinal twist. Now remember here, the goal is to keep both shoulders to the mat rather than get that knee to the floor. Inhale to move back into the center. Take another full body stretch. And then hug the right knee into the chest and move your spinal twist to the other side. Recognizing now if it feels more comfortable on one side than the other. Always checking in with that body. Beautiful. Move back into the center. One more full body stretch. And then find your way to your Shavasana. Now, as always, choosing the energy you would like to welcome into your final pose today. If you're in need of a bit of healing, maybe a bit of joy, then you're welcome to flip those palms up towards the sky to start to harness the energy of the sun and of the moon. Or if you're in need of rebalancing, a bit of strength, you can flip those palms down to connect with the earth beneath you. Choosing here the one that suits you, the one that resonates with you. Remember, there's no right or wrong, this is your practice. But once you've found your way here, you're going to take a beautiful deep inhale through the nose. And a slow exhale all the way out. Giving permission to yourself to find a few more moments of relaxation, of peace and of stillness here on the mat. Maybe scanning yourself from the crown of your head all the way to the tops of your toes, checking in with how you're feeling. How you feel after this practice, if you can find any space in the body, maybe some length. Aiming to send that breath all the way to the base of the belly, feeling it rise and feeling it fall. Sending that breath all the way to the base of the belly, feeling it rise, feeling it fall. before we take a beautiful deep inhale through the nose. And a slow exhale all the way out. From here, my darlings, you're going to bend one knee, bend another, and allow yourself to roll to one side of your mat before bringing yourself in to a comfortable seated position, any position that feels good to you. Roll back the shoulders. And we're going to take the hands to prayer in the center of your chest. One final inhale. And one final exhale, bowing low with gratitude. Giving thanks to yourself for coming to the mat, for this collective coven, for their support and their energy. And as always, from me to you, thanking you for joining me for this 13-minute yin inspired flow. Now, if you enjoyed this flow, then you can find more on my YouTube channel at The Yogi Witch. But sending so much love, sending so much magic from my mat to yours. And I hope to see you again soon. Hopefully without the animals to disturb. Thank you, my loves, and I'll see you later.